Good morning, darlings. This is not a prepared video. I normally psych myself up. I'm just waking up, sitting in my leopard dressing gown, and I just thought this is the best moment. I should be writing a written feedback this morning, something I still do for all the natal readings. I take 2 hours to write a little feedback, and it's something I enjoy doing. It's something I actually do quite fast compared to the old days. But so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit and just go over a few things happening. And as always, Uno helps me enormously because I'm not able. I don't follow the news. I just see the news in my little cafe here with all the French people in my village drinking their morning pastis. And I'm having my coffee normally because I work in the morning and I normally spend my midday out walking the dogs. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm just talking about waking up rubbish stuff. Okay, so let's go. Now, this is a video from yesterday from Uno, and it's about what was going on the 14th, 15th. So let's go back to the 14th. And on the 14th, we've got Venus coming up with the sun onto Spica, the star of harvest. And we have our Virgo virgin girl, who represents the fertility, with Mercury, the ruler, exalted, and Saturn, who is about to go stationary and move forward back into Aquarius. He's already been into Aquarius, and he's going to move back for the last time. And this energy of the stationary energy of Saturn, as Pluto is under the eagle and moving forward now for his last journey after 17 years or something, just about that, maybe a bit more, into the Twin Peaks, where, you know, this is the 244-year journey from the American Revolution, the French Revolution, all happened with Pluto in the Twin Peaks. So Jupiter in his prime spots, ready to create the sword in the stone, the Cairo, this is the passage, this is the voice. Venus in Pisces is exalted, and Venus is now opposite that sword in the stone, the death of the girl. And this is what we've just had in France on the same date, the death of a 12-year-old girl, LoLa. Her name was LoLa. Barry Manilow, as we have Mars in AldeBarry, Baron, making her Baron Mars. And the moon was on AldeBarry. So it's coming up. Mars is going to begin to go retrograde on the 30th, just after the COURONNE partial solar eclipse. We're going to have a perfect ring of fire around this black moon, which is happening in Libra. I've showed you in the last videos the importance of Putin's chart, Prince Charles's chart. They all carry very much this Virgo energy. They're bringing up the DNA strands as the authority. Jack and Jill merged into one. So the death of LoLa, this 12-year-old girl, is bringing in the birthing of this one child, Gemini and Virgo. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. This is our Quicksilver. This is the silver, and this is the silver gateway, Taurus, and which has been made into this bully, this energy. So this girl, LoLa, was killed by a 24 22-year-old Algerian woman, the little white girl. And I'm going to be showing you the pictures, but it's just ridiculous. So 2412 is Jupiter. Jupiter spends 1 year in each sign, takes 12 years to go round. And 24 hours of Le Mans, the man, is him taking the wheel. 2 cycles of 12 is 24. And that symbol for Jupiter is the 2-4, which can be the 42-24, half of Uranus. Uranus is the conscious mind, 84-year cycle. And Uranus is in Aries, where he was the last time, 84 years ago, between Aries. He's now under Medusa. Here he is. This gap merging the masculine male fire pillar to take the lunar pillar to rise that fertility green man. This is the heart passage, the torso. So Saturn making this square to high cardinal fire from high cardinal earth. This is that earthquake energy. And Mars that will begin his retrograde over the bullseye. So on this day, the 14th, this great video. So we're just going to have a little look. So he's pointing out Astana and the pentagram, the upside down pentagram in Kazakhstan, which is in this a star. So the arse star is being hung upside down on the Boaz and Jachin pillars. The kid's knees, the knees is Capricorn, phony baloney. Everything below the knee is the Twin Peaks. You stand up on your your knees, your calves, your feet, Pisces, the 10th, 11th door. So you see the big eagle, that is exactly why they've just had here the Pope. This is what his video is about. This is about creating the new world. You've got the court jester, the joker is Jupiter. So what was I just saying to you? So this brings me back to in one of my old blog, I have a video. So this Phoenix rising, this is meant to be the passage. This is meant to be the voice. Okay, this is the voice passage. This is the voice passage to come back into the Twin Peaks. We've got the 2 directions going on. We've got Neptune about to enter. Where's Neptune? Neptune here, Saturn here, Pluto here, Uranus here. Uranus is starting off the cycle wheel again, but we've got Neptune, the imagination, Saturn, the last visible planet, and Pluto, the subconscious mind, moving into this higher authority of this ruthless old hag, the 3 women, the old crone, the mother, and Armistice, Virgo, the pre-sexual girl, taking fully, this is their chance, this has been planned for centuries and centuries. So it's happening right now, and often they take away my comment. I had to put it back yesterday. Yeah, my comment's gone again. So maybe it's gone. So on my old blog, that as you know I can't get into, but sometimes it reminds me of old things I've posted. This is from 2016. So here, the Occult World Peace Plan, the United Nations, the Lucis Trust. Let's go to this. So this is a very good old video, and here we are at the UN, the diaphragm, at alcohol, the moment where coronavirus, Virgo, Pisces, we managed to go from soul, flesh, to spirit, voice, and we're right there. So let's carry on just looking at the images. So he's pointing out the Boaz and Jachin, the sun and the moon. And here they have their version of merging the sun and the moon, merging the four corners to find the fifth element, the head, higher consciousness. And here we go, the fortune, the four sea suns. Oh, and everybody believes in love. So here is the light of Lucis, of Lucifer, and on the same day, in France, in Paris, a 12-year-old girl, LoLa, is sacrificed and killed by a woman. So there's the four corners, and here we've got the Putin himself. I showed you his chart. Please go and see my last videos because it's all joins up. He's got his purple tie on. And you see, here he is, right there, in Kakistan. And all this is hidden by the news of LoLa. You've got the sun, fertility god, and the eagle. This is Jupiter. He has no air. He uses the wings of Altair, and he uses the tail of the whale. So look, and there is the Cairo, the two Chiron, the horseshoes, the Milky Way snake, the lunar nodes. We're going to have the eclipse on the 25th, the corona, rings of fire, followed by a full lunar eclipse, which has all been covered in past videos. We'll have a look at the end of this video as well. And look at all the pedophile colours. The seventh, last leg, seventh, this is the voice passage. Here we go. So we've got fascism, socialism, and communism disguised in these three religions, the three crosses, the triple goddesses, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. Okay, so I think that's all we need to see here. The 7th Congress, can you believe that? CC 33. So do go and look at that old video to really understand this new world order, when it should be about you finding your fifth element within. So yeah, what was this? Labor pains come on a pregnant woman. When they say peace and security, then sudden destruction comes on them, like labor pains come on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. Hotel California, 12th door. You can check out any time you want, but you can never leave. And the last cornerstone. Okay. So a post from this morning. It really is this simple. The fortune corners, you carry four humours, hot, dry, cold and wet. You are the four directions, NEWS, news, north, east, west, south. And when you finally stop to see it, you will recognise your four sea suns and this fine mess we are in. No one makes it through the last 0770 throat passage to find their heads without profound repentance and gratitude for having a human experience. And remembering we have a head to discern and decipher with. DD44 D-Day is here. The passage into the new kingdom is within for those who can repaint and start anew. So basically, the 4 seasons are within us all, and they have to be recognized, the 4 humors, to make the 5th element, the twin peaks. This last upright pentagram, and we can see that there's an upside down pentagram as well. You've got to be able to see the all. And this is Lars's beautiful picture, which I love. So here's Taurus. We've got Mars retrograding in Taurus now, starting on the 30th. As the wheel contracts, Jupiter takes his place, the mutable cross, MJ, Mercury, Jupiter, they close and they let way for everybody to find their master and grandmaster, cardinal and fixed signs. Venus and Mars merge, the sun and the moon. We forgive our mother and father, and we find higher consciousness, which is slightly androgynous. We're above sex. So in a way, by making everyone sterile, introducing the arsehole, this is really, this is Mad Max coming in. This is the Wild Ones. This is Uranus, the Lord of the Wild Ones. They are going to bring up for people to see just how much evil, this is just winter, autumn, summer, spring. Unless people are fully conscious of the alchemical process of the seasons, you cannot make the contraction of the wheel, which gives you the 5th element. When the wheel goes from 12 to 8, you open the 5-petaled heart to head. HH is the 88 heart to heads. It's the Back to the Future. You remember your 5th elements. Through the throat. This is the 7th Congress of whatever it was. Here we are. We're at the Sword in the Stone right now. Pluto moves into the Twin Peaks, and we're going to have this eclipse on Aries, Libra, exactly on the sun and the moon of King William, of what's he called, King Charles. And the chart of Prince William, go back and see my videos. I'm not going to go over it today. And this is the throat passage. This is the lion on the mutable cross. It's not the lion. You've got to get through the lion to find Aquarius, Leo. St. Andrew's cross, they hide just behind that 5th element. And there they are. They've got 2 holding hands and 2 not holding hands. And your 5th element is a black car. LX, last leg, passing the X. Phlegm, blood, bile, black bile, yellow bile, blood and phlegm. And the core is when you repent and you fully find the simplicity of this game that we're in, and you find your 5th element. That 13th sign is they will keep you in a never-ending waging war. As we saw the 3 religions, and they're making it into one. All right, I'm going to have to eat something before I carry on. I'll just finish these pictures so I can start anew. I don't know why I threw that in, but the French Revolution is where we are. It's the decapitation. It's bringing up the wild ones. This is what they want before they bring in their peace plan. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, let's move down some posts. So all they want is Flora's Ida. Her fertility. Once it's so D is 4, A is 1, 41, 14 pieces of Osiris. So it's the closing of the Milky Way. Ida, this Scorpio, you know, all the water signs are fertility, and earth is earth and water is feminine, but the floor, earth, and the water of the Ida. Her fertility. Once the human race is sterile, one-sex slave race, you will at last see what you gave away. The ability to create life. I fell is life in it. The I fell tower, the iron sterile lady. So that Eiffel Tower is iron, Mars. So the vaginal flora, Florida, and I'll be showing you a post that somebody posted very interesting about Florida again. My last videos cover this flora, Florence, FTM, Florence and the Machine. And they've just created a robot. So this is Ida, Florida. This is another video from Uno. And everything I have been showing you, you will recognize. The first shot is that famous scene, and I think we can put a bit of the sound.
No. I've wondered whether you might be having some second thoughts about the mission. How do you mean? I never gave these stories much credence, but particularly in view of some of the other things that have happened, I find them difficult to put out of my mind.
So, Stepford Wives, this is exactly what they're bringing up. They've always got the frame, the diaphragm. Look, she's got that big red. Anyway, so she's called Ida, I think. And look, they even show Giza. They show Giza, which is what should fall onto the horizon. They're trying to put Leo back on, the fixed cross back to front. There they bring Ida to the true third eye, Fomalhaut, Giza. So the whore of Babylon is Virgo and Leo, bringing up the mad dam. Okay, so you can go and see that video. This is me sharing the video of Uno. So I put, here comes the new empire, the occult world peace plan, the United Nations, Lucis, Truss, Jupiter, faith, religion, expansion, making his seventh seal as Pluto leaves Sagittarius under Altair the Phoenix into Capricorn, Saturn. And Saturn enters Aquarius, Saturn and Jupiter on the whale's telltale. They create the 007, seventh seal, four corners into one, New Age cage. See this old video, Lucis Trust here, which I just showed you. So that famous film, The Seventh Seal, Saturn, playing chess with Saturn. So it's, The Seventh Seal is a Swedish film from 1957, Swedish historical fantasy written and directed by Ingmar Bergman. Set in Sweden during the Black Death, it tells of the journey of medieval knights and a game of chess that he plays. So, bingo, we're at the seventh seal. The eclipse is the 25th of the 10th. That's 7. Disillusioned knight Antonius Block and his cynical squire Johns return from the Crusades to find the country ravaged by the plague. The knight encounters death. The knight is Jupiter meeting Saturn, death, whom he challenges to a chess match, believing he can survive as long as the game continues. The game they start continues throughout the story. So you can read that and you can go and watch that film, because this is where we are. The seventh seal, the grand cross of the eclipses. It's known as the seventh seal. Seventh seal, great eclipse. America. We should be able to find an image. Okay, I can't find it right now. They've taken away, but they used to be in around the time 2017, everyone was talking about it. You've got the 7 seals on the last axis before they flip us to the new axis for the April 8th, 2024. So, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with the 7 seals of Revelation. So this is LoLa, who died on this 14th of October as Venus in detriment, everything I explain. Corona Virgin, Mary Virgo, solar eclipse, ring of fire, COURONNE, 25th of the 10th, the rhythm of the nights. Corona, remember the song? Her name was Lola, LL77, Gigi, Lolita, Darbel 07, the famous book, Lolita, Gigi, always the same story. LOL, Lucifer, our Lord, fake light, a 12-year-old white girl killed by a 24-year-old Algerian, raped and killed in a mall. I'm not sure how you spell mall, but in a mall, it's just a shopping mall, I presume. A male. In residence, she lived in Man Inn. So that's like Mandarin, China, Man Inn. Poot in and man in. Death and the girl, fertility is over. Am is the soul. Amelie, am a lie. Poulain, I've told you about poulain. The pool is the chicken. It's also the foal. This is the foal, which is a fowl. Virgin cherry popped. It's simply the wheel played out. Saturn will be stationary and moving direct on the 22nd of the 10th. 22, BB, whoa, Black Betty, Virgo, Virgin, Venus and Virgo, conjunct Sun, on Spica, Blue Star, Allez les Bleus, soul music. So that was on the 14th, but they're coming up to be completely conjunct on the, we've had the 17th, we're already the 20th now. So today, for this, they are completely conjunct, and Mercury will be coming up. This is where Prince Charles or Willie, all these people, they've all got all this, and here's the black moon coming up. Venus, Moon, Sun, and Mercury on Spica. So, I mean, it really is all preparation for this. Mercury ruler, so yeah, conjunct on the blue star, that's Allez les Bleus, it's the soul music. This is why in St. Louis, where the silver arch is, it's all the area of the blues music, the soul. Jazz music represents the trumpets and the below the belt music of the soul. You've got the flutes and the harps, which is the above the belt, but you need both. You need the treble and the bass to be that 07 pH Harry Potter perfect. I'm not going to say perfect harmony. Procession. What's it called? Harmonic procession. It's just the Harry Potter Holland Park. Perfect harmony. Harmony, I don't like saying, because harmony is harm on ye, or you find that harmony. It's Libra. It's either your kidneys upside down, the kids' knees, Virgo and Jack and Jill, Virgo and Gemini, the DNA strands, but you've got to find the high cardinal and fixed air and earth. Jack and Jill, Mercury and Gemini are just children. They're just the journey through the throat, the voice to find. So they're taking over the Taurus, the silver gateway, the fertility. And rising Scorpio as Ophiuchus, the golden gateway is the golden sun, the sun gods. So Mercury ruler in domicile Virgo and exalted in Virgo, Moon Mars conjunct on the peak pike horn. That's not the peak of Capricorn. It's the peak of the horn of Taurus. In France, LoLa, 12 years old, killed the 14th of the 10th, 14 pieces of Osiris by a 24-year-old woman. Aka 12 Jupiter, and 24 is 4 times 6, 24, 2 times 12, 24. Wheel drive ahead. Mars will go retro over bullseye, AldeBarry, barren, sterile, Barry white, Barry, while Rachel was barren for the first 14 years in the Bible. That's why you've got the Rachel Blackmore, who won the Grand National on the horse, number 14. She was number 14. So in the Bible, the first 14 years of her marriage, she's still described as Jacob's preferred wife and a powerful woman. Jacob's other wife is Rachel's sister Leah, which causes issues between the sisters, especially because Leah is able to bear children. So Rachel can't bear children. We've got Virgo and Leah, opposite Pisces, whatever. It's always the feminine axis, water, earth, water, earth. LoLa is a feminine name of a Spanish origin meaning sorrows. It is a shortened version of the name Dolores. So a friend was telling me about, she's had this big post about Westworld. I've never seen Westworld, so there's apparently somebody called Dolores in it. But Dolores makes me think of Dolores Cannon. So the tin is on, we're in the tin can. Dolores Cannon, or this is the new age. This is the golden cage, new age cage. This is everything the Victorian society set up. So their Tudor rose is not that lovely picture of Lars is the flower. It's the rose is the passage you can open and shut through the UN diaphragm. Dolores, which derived from a Spanish title given to the Virgin Mary, Nuestra Señora de los Dolores. So, doll, gold doll is a doll. R is golden, a golden doll. This is an God-created woman. This is the Stepford Wives. They tell you, that film tells you. The men make a fake woman just to give them pleasure, because woman didn't want to stand up and take her role and remember that once you get past sexual desires, hunger, everything that Jupiter desire wants to be fed, you can find the higher orgasm, which is just merging the 4 seasons. And, that's what our journey is. We have to go through the journey of below the belt to find the higher. That's the beauty of the human experience. So, meaning sorrows. So it translates to Our Lady of Sorrows. This is Tears for Fears. This is why La Marianne is always crying. This is Elon Musk, Musketeers. This biblical name carries the message that understanding the sorrows in life. And then I just cut that there because in the French newspaper they put devant le 11-9, so 9/11, that was the number of the building where this girl lived who was killed. In the résidence Manin, man in, so the put is in and the man is in. This is 69, 6th house Virgo, 9th house Sagittarius. It's always been the big brother and the little girl, Jupiter ascending. Dans la 19e arrondissement, so that's 10, 9 and 1 is 10. As Pluto moves into the 10th house, that's what it is in Alice in Wonderland on the Mad Hatter's hat. You've got the 10 and the 6, that 6 is also the 9. That is the Alice in Wonderland's opening to the Mad Hater's Tea Party. Les yeux sont rougis par les pleurs. The eyes are red from crying. So Mars in Taurus. Her name was LoLa. She was a showgirl with yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut down to there. She would meringue and do the cha-cha, and while she tried to be a star, Tony always tended bar. So we've got Tony Frosties, Tony the Tiger. We're in the year of the tiger. Tony always tended bar. Across the crowded floor, they worked from 8 till 4. They were young and they had each other. Who could ask for more? At the Copacabana. You're going to be singing Barry Manilow all day. Sorry. The hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copper Banana. Music and passion were always the fashion, and the copper they fell in love. Copacabana. His name was Rico. He wore a diamond. He was escorted to his chair. He saw Lola dancing there. You know, this is the chariot. This is the chair. He can't, you know, he's not the true throne. This is the Hierophant. And when she finished, he called her over. But Rico went a bit too far. Tony sailed across the bar. And then the punches flew and chairs were smashed in two. There was blood and a single gunshot. AldeBarry is the bullseye. The gun is the G-U-N, the G-spots. It's when you find the balance of the solar plexus, you get over sun and moon, mother, father complex. And you get through the solar plexus and to the diaphragm through the throat. The gun is the last 90-degree angle shot. But just who shot who? At the Copacabana, whatever, the hottest spot north of Havana. So all this you go check out. There'll be millions of clues in all this. Music and passion were always the fashion at the Copper. She lost her love. Like in Havana, music and passion were always in fashion. So this is all, you know, music of the wheel. We're in a musical wheel, and passion is that Jupiter. Her name is Lola. She was a showgirl, but that was 30 years ago, cycle of Saturn, when they used to have a show. Now it's a disco, but not for Lola. Still in dress, she used to wear faded feathers in her hair. She sits there so refined and drinks herself half blind. She lost her youth. She lost her Tony. Now she's lost her mind. Neptune going into Pisces for 15 years. I won't repeat that. At the Copper, music and passion were always in fashion at the Copper. Don't fall in love. Don't fall in love. Yeah. Cupid Valentine. I'm just so grateful to be completely over the bullshit dependency game. It's just being fully responsible for yourself. Okay, so you can read through that, but they're basically, this is it, and here is Lola. So this happens as Venus and the Sun are on the Virgo Virgin Dolores. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but we don't, you know, this is just the image of the blonde, white girl, which is over. And I mean, if people just could only make that journey of joining the within and the without, the micro and the macro, it's all there for you. You can see what's going on. Mercury, the little child alone, Venus in detriment, using the energy of the sun, masculine, and a 24-year-old girl killed the 12-year-old. 119, 911, the bullseye, man in. And I didn't know this, but Rachel was barren for the first 14 years of her marriage. She's still described as Jacob's preferred wife and a powerful woman. Jacob's other wife is Rachel's sister Leah, which causes issues between the sisters, especially. But so I just read you that. So this is from Friends, and she sings Lola, apparently. So she's got the pink. We're at the Pink Panther. She'll be coming round the mountain wearing pink pajamas, going round that corner. Mars retrograde in Taurus. Taurus is feminine, making her masculine. This is the masculine energy. Got the jazz player, saxophone. It's the arsehole. You know, it is the national velvet. It's the velvet passage, that pink velvet of the arsehole. So again, on the 14th, Saturn, Jupiter on the whale's tail. Look at this, masculine. So there's Barry, man in, low, below, MM. So WW, Westway, MM, it's the Milky Way. You need the two directions of the UN diaphragm Milky Way snake. So on that 14th, you've got Mars coming up to the tip, and there's your magician. This is the magician, Manilo, magic. His name was Rico. He wore a diamond. He was escorted to his chair. He saw Lola dancing there, and when she finished, he called her over. But Rico went a bit too far. Tony sailed across the bar, and then the punches flew, and chairs were smashed in two. There was blood and a single gunshot, but just who shot who? So the Mad Hatter's Tea Party to be opened. Gangster, Barry Manilow, bow tie. It's the meter, the eights, the bow. Okay. Somebody just made a good comment. 'Tis the building behind them with 5 pillars above the doorway. Look. It's just so funny how they tell us. It's wonderful. It's such a game. This made me laugh. I'll just share it with you. Have a look at that. There were red flags everywhere. So anyway, I started dating them. That is so me. And yeah, I'm really happy to be free of, you know, being in control of below and above. Wonderful. The green line through the heart to head, 8-8, Back to the Future. I remember my 5th element, the head to heart, as 1-8 gates. Crazy. The diaphragm, solar, lunar plexus, mother, father, complex us. Gotta embrace the journey and your anima, animus. Parents, to pass the Medusa, jellyfish, JFK cut. You may want to forgive your parents for, you can read that. And this freedom only comes when you can truly find your 5th elements. So, Albert, AB, Camus, C, AC, Albert Camus is the ascendant. So, the door in is A, C, which is the 1st letter, and the 3rd letter, which is the 13th sign. So you have to become the ability to come into the material wheel and to leave the material wheel, to be conscious that you entered through that door to have a material experience. And when you know that, just your state of mind is your inner freedom. You don't have to do anything. It's in your, it's you who holds that passage through in your knowing. Okay, so again, Peter Sellers just comes back to me a lot. I talk about him a lot. P.S. So I had a look at his charts, and we'll have a look at one of his videos as well. So I thought I'd check out P.S. I Love You's chart. Pete her, sells her. Sellers and bingo, they gave him exactly the chart needed. Born on the 8th of September, Corona's birthday, and the date of the death of the Queen, obviously. In mainstream, he would be Virgo, but on correct constellations, he is Sun in Leo, with Mars conjunct. His Sun, Leo, celebrity, creative expression. Sun rules Leo heart attack. They say he died. I think he's the president of Ireland now. Mercury on Regulus, feet of Jesus, conjunct Neptune, the royal star. Mary Magdalene wipes the blood of Jesus with her musketeers, horizon, and Mercury rules Virgo, where he had Venus, V for victory, and Venus in detriment, the whore of Babylon. So he also had Venus in Virgo, just like we've just seen for the death of this girl. So I didn't know all that about the death of that girl yet, and I do that. I write a lot about something going on because I'm picking up on it, but I didn't know about it until yesterday. Venus in detriment, the whore of Babylon on Spica, the blue star, soul, music. So exactly like we've just seen for the death of this girl. Obviously, Allez les Bleus, Inspector Clouseau. Can you see the trails of clues he left you? Pink Panther. Saturn exalted in Libra and Jupiter at home in Sagittarius on the star Noon Key. So on that star that is the archer's elbow that kills Scorpio, the fertility. On the elbow of the archer that kills the Milky Way snake. Pluto in Gemini on Sirius, and Moon in Taurus as the Queen Moon Goddess. Moon exalted in Taurus as many celebrities, including Liz Truss and Frances Elizabeth Bourne. Uranus on the whale's tail in Pisces. So this is Peter Sellers. He's got Mercury right on Regulus and Sun and Mars all in Leo. So that's his suppose. And there we've got Venus exactly where it is today. So, you know, and exactly where Prince Charles, I can't remember, he's got Mercury anyway. And Putin, we've been looking at all. It's rising the whore of Babylon. Saturn exalted in Libra. And he's got his Jupiter right on the Noon Key. The key for Jupiter to become the MC, the Noon Key that sends the darts into the heart of Scorpio, female fertility, to bring up their one world, never-ending waging war of Ophiuchus above here. So he's got the moon right, very interesting. I've never seen the moon there before. Right under the Seven Sisters. And that is Pluto right on Sirius in Pollux, and Uranus on the whale's tail. And that's his chart, which we're not going to go into now. Uranus opposite. So this is the show he was giving to the door out to other people, very much Aquarius. So he had all that creative expression of Leo, and he doesn't care what people think. Aquarius out towards people. Uranus, very shocking, unpredictable, divorces, 7th house. The moon on Algol, square to his Mercury. So goodness knows what he lived with his own mother. You know, who is this? And he's got Pluto and Jupiter opposite, right on the Sirius Altair line. This is the Phoenix Altair here. This is that famous Cupid and Valentine, St. Paul's Cathedral. And Princess Diana has this axis too. She walked up the aisle. The aisle is the L, it's the wing. Okay. So Peter Sellers cracks me up. I was a full-time impersonator as a child. I was just like him, laughing at the different archetypes within the arch. All I did at school was mimic the show I was in. Yeah, he is part of the show. They used him in his roles and work, tell you everything you need to know. It's all in Pete Seller. So maybe I'll just show you because it's funny. You have to go and look because honestly, and so they use a woman, the BBC is just the Skull and Bones, 223, 322. The woman who does this, it sounds just like the Queen. Just like the Queen. So I see through everything about him just because I recognize so much. You know, he's just a joker, and I recognize, I suppose, that joker within me. As a child, I spent my life impersonating people. If I hadn't found my authentic self, I could have just been a joker. I don't do that anymore, but as a child, I was always impersonating the people, accents. I could have done something like the Tracy Ullman, but I was more interested in, so this would be him when he was doing his Irishman, I would imagine. I'm not sure what that one is, but this Nazi one, anyway, they're not laughing at him, they're laughing with him because they know. And you see, in a way, it seems like he gives clues a lot, because through his incredible humor, I think he knows what's going on. I mean, maybe he couldn't get out once. I don't know how it happened. Was he prepared from childhood? Is he part of it? Has he now got himself in a situation where he had to be the president of Ireland? Is he part of it? Did he want to be part of it? I mean, we just don't know. Apparently, he had a stillborn brother or something. Was there a twin? Are there two of them playing out roles, trained for all this because of their chart? So we know that that's not the peace sign. That is Jupiter and Saturn separated, not joined. Okay. So this just popped up. Joni Patry, lunar eclipse, November the 8th, chaos and revolution. Well, yeah, exactly that. The Mad Hatter's Tea Party. It's coming after the partial solar eclipse on the 25th. So this clip of Peter Sellers just tells you everything. So it will be 50 Hawaii, 50 years since this scene, 1975. He's born in 1925, they say. So for 2025, that will be the 100 years, the last 100 years into this new age cage. This scene, 90s a Pink Panther, hence why we have the pink, red, white Cancer, 69, 96 Cali Panther umbrellas at the moment. All France is covered in upside down UN umbrellas. This is the closing of the wheel, caught, stuck in that passage. The upside down Medusa, UN diaphragm, it's the passage. She will be wearing pink pajamas when she comes. This scene about the Hoover, Ver is worms. Hoover, Mad Dam by Peter Sellers is oozing with clues. It's very funny and clever how they tell you. So first shots of this scene. It's just oozing. So the first shot we get, he's coming in with the moustache, the disguise, the Hoover. He's in a hotel. From the corridor through the door. Hotel is the 12th house whenever they show you hotels. And the number on the door is 216. It's 216, Prince William's birthday, the summer solstice, 6 times 6 times 6. And then it's just, there are so many. So, you know, the bird in the cage, the canary is in your brain, the pillars, the blue, Merlin, Asia, and the light bulb that goes on and off. You can't keep the light bulb on. And you've got, look, here you've got the Keeper of the Four Corners, Cirrus. You've got those two lions, like the double-headed eagle. everything. And you have the picture frame, and that will be some famous Dutch painting. The flowers, he takes the picture out of the frame, the soul out of the frame, the four corners. All the woman's underwear goes. He sucks up all her underwear. So they really are laughing at us. I don't know whether he's conscious. He sucks the bird out of the cage into the hoover. And the bird comes out with a moustache. So that's your brain, your crane, your Ukraine. Putin is the horizon and the Ukraine is the vertical line, the solstice. It's just, and it's the pirates, the brain comes and sits on his shoulder, shits on his shoulder. And they've got the parrot on the cornerstone. Look at that. Look at that. Incredible. The parrot on the, maybe you're not getting these images. Sometimes they block it. Well, you have to go and see The Return of the Pink Panther and look for what I'm talking about if you can't see it. But so many clues. I put this up in my community on YouTube, but again, I didn't know about Lola's death, but this is all Venus in Virgo. Virgo girl, Eve, evening star, Venus in Virgo, faced with the naked bare truth of the soul flesh journey. The blue Spica star, La Marianne, she's the holistic high priestess, the nun and the whore. She lost her corn voice to spirit, opposite axis Pisces. Coronavirus is 6th house Virgo Corona and virus Pisces 12th house. From am soul grapes to wine house spirit alcohol. Amy Winehouse is back to black. Whoa, Black Betty. BB22 is not the V22 passage of Pisces. From spirit water Pisces, the little mermaid fell to earth with legs and she has to bear her cross. BC, bear cross. 23 DNA strands before Christ, the bare necessities of life. Everyone has to bear their own cross. Whether you like it or not, you're committed to the human endeavor. I cannot ally myself with such a purely negative goal as avoidance of suffering. Suffering is a chance you take by the fact of being alive. So that is Dolores is known as the Queen of Sorrows, the Virgin Mary. Mary Magdalene crying at the cross of Jesus. She's lost her opposite axis. She's lost Pisces. There's no more grace. This is going to be bringing out the wildest sides of humanity. So again, this is somebody who posted this random. Was the highest point in Florida for a long time, the Bock Tower, printed with the Book of Life in the Garden of Eden. Florida was the garden, still is. Bock is a goat, top of the mountain. So interesting, because we've been talking about when the storms. So during the storms, Ida is the Garden of Eden, is Virgo, Armistice, the Virgin Eve. Regarding the flora, Ida, storms, bacteria and other organisms that live inside the intestines. They help digest food. Vitamins such as biotin and vitamin K are made by gut flora, also called gut microflora, intestinal flora, intestinal microflora and microflora. Florence, Nightin, Putin, Gale, Ghoul, Gal, Wales, Will.I.am, Tail. So Jupiter on the tail, opposite the Virgo. And he's drying up all the flora, and they're going to give you Florence Nightingale, the little, all these health systems being set up. The first one's just been set up where I live in Florence. the area of Florence. We've got Miranda, where I live, where they've just put up a massive dome blocking the diaphragm, keeping us in below the gut without the flora. So FTM, Florence and the machine, Virgo rules the fallopian tubes and digestive system, which includes the intestines and spleen. These people have the Virgo girls have an instinctive intuition about their well-being, such as a gut instinct or gut feeling, and as such are the most health conscious of the signs. Ida is the daughter of Minos, the eye, the yoni, daughter of Corybus and mother of Minos. Ida, one of the nurses of Zeus. Again, it's Jupiter ascending, the girl with Jupiter. In Greek mythology, Minos was a king of Crete, son of Zeus and Europa. Every 9 years, he made King Acus pick 7 young boys and 7 young girls to be sent to Daedalus' creation, the labyrinth, to be eaten by the Minotaur. After his death, Minos became a judge of the dead in the underworld. It's the silver arch gate lunar pillar made into solar pillar. St. Louis, Taurus, Virgin is made into the mother hag in one. Taurus becomes the fertility sun god, taking her earthly pleasures. Hence King Louis, sun king, king of the abs, appy bull god, take her silver Milky Way snake as his. Soul music began here, the blues, blue star, Spica, Virgin Virgo. She is soul, black earth, the flora, fleur de lis of Ida. Ida is the new robot name, so always coming back to Lucy's flower, Lucy fur, the fur of Lucy, taking her virginity. So you can go and look that up. It's got the gateway. So the Bok Tower, very interesting. Something I posted 2 years ago. I love how you always have the birds with the cows. Is your heart heavier than the feather? These are the egrets, and they sit always with the cows. So the journey, Libra, Taurus, both ruled by Venus. Peace, true peace is when you find the middle pillar. And they're making the cow into the alpha and the omega. Libra, that's the sword in the stone. They kill that middle pillar. Okay. You can read that. Bingo, 369, the line broken, the moon key monkey, moon eye star, monster of the id. Ida got choked because the subconscious is the 12th house. Passage, V Pisces. They want to make it as scary as possible for you to get through Pisces. I showed you in my last video. You know, no one's had more training than me. I only have the 12th and 6th house with all my planets. And, you know, I know all about it. So 3 Gemini, 6 Virgo, 9 Sagittarius, 12 Pisces, 3, 6, 9. You need 12, the last corner, to become the 5th element. When pineal, sun, electric consciousness and pituitary, moon, magnetic subconsciousness merge, you are whole, no longer holy cow herds. The cow jumped over the moon's subconscious mind, planet of the apes, Appy the bull god, return of the pink panther, seeing eye, Moonky, Minky, and this famous Peter Sellers, which is also all about now. And you've got the blind man and the Minky, and we're going to have the bank run. We're going to lose all our money now. And people have no idea of the reset coming. And people are laughing at him when he is showing you the great eclipse. And the cross that we're at the Paris Olympics, there is the great eclipse. Right there. This is, you know, we're next 2 years we're there. So the 7th seal is on that axis, and you've got to get through the passage at the 7th seal. Okay. Something I wrote a couple of years ago, which I think is interesting, which I'm not going to read now, but look, if I go like that, it kind of talks about everything. And you can have a look at that yourself. Shirley means bright meadow. The name Shirley comes from Old English words skya, shire, or bright, and Leah. So here we've got Leah, the sister of Rachel. Meadow clearing. This gender-neutral title was initially for boys. However, Charlotte Bronte's novel, Shirley, has popularised it as a chic name for girls since its publication in 1849. The temple is a latch where 4 skull bones fuse, the 4 corners, the frontal, parietal, temporal, and sphenoids. So, when I was pinned to my beds and struck in the temple by my ex just before 9/11, when my long 8-year fight began, I'd had my entire heritage stolen. I was completely cornered. I had no way to get out. I was struck in the temple. That's why I lost my front tooth last year. And because that tooth had been dead and the dentist had been asking me, I mean, it's a miracle I even got to join my 4 corners and have that light explosion in my head. I don't think everybody has it in the same way. I don't know. Lavette always talks about her experience, and I had mine in about 2016. Happened many years after the Kundalini awakening, which I didn't have from doing yoga. I had from being so abused in Paris. I got to a point of being so abused, just like in the film Breaking the Waves, which is a Swedish film by that Swedish guy, which just shows the extreme of sacrifice that the Pisces girl will go through, which is what I lived. And I didn't even realize how bad everything it was that happens to me until I sat up one morning and went, we're all one, which I'd known, but I really deeply had that awakening. But you can awaken the snake, but once the snake is awoken, your spine, how do you use it? How do you get there? So this is explaining Cladists classify land vertebrates based on the presence of an upper hole, a lower hole, both or neither in the cover of dermal bone that formerly covered the temporalis muscle, whose origin is the temple and whose insertion is the jaw. The brain has a lobe called the temporal lobe. Yeah, that's where I got struck. I only worked that out as I was having a new tooth built. But first I had to get tortured by 2 dentists on the journey. So you can read that, and this is interesting for the programming. And Heidi, you know, is the Virgo. She's the Greta Pippi Longstocking. This is the child, the Black Madonna. And, you know, it's all pedophilia as well. Okay. So great, I went to the seaside for a day. I haven't seen the sea. I had one day last year as well, but I got to see all the pink umbrellas. So, and I also found my old logo on shoes. So I've been told about this Spanish logo. So that Virgin Spanish Dolores. This was on the 16th of October. So the beautiful sea. And more shoes. It's just stunning. It's not so far from me. It's an hour and a half's drive, but, and, you know, typical, I've been having my car fixed. I said to them, please check everything, check. I keep paying for stuff, and the brakes went. Got to get them done. You really got to fight to look after yourself. So, very like my old logo. And this old video that I found. Which was when I was 40, so this is 14 years ago. I'm 54 now. So where is that video? So this video was to launch my Vicky Vibes. And I think, oops, the music was my son. So I was promoting other people's products. There's my logo. And right at the beginning, oops, you see Vicky Vibes, but I had a little, it's like a lip or whatever you want to think of it, V. So it's funny, I've had a great life, I've had a great passage. You can, and then also this video here, Citizen Queen. So I did this video for Romano Ricci, RR, the grandson of Nina Ricci. He has, Juliet has a gun. So when you think of this, you know, everything I explain now, the throat passage, completely illegal to have a girl. Now, how do I cut the sound? Volume. So this video basically says everything, and I was completely unconscious. So I made up the little story, had somebody make the video, took a friend, this girl I'd known since she was 3 years old. She was just part of the girls in Paris, very beautiful girl. So she's got the hat that Romano Ricci is known for, made by another friend of ours called Cerise sur le Chapeau in Paris, that Cherry on the hat makes these hats. So I put her in his hat and with a gun walking down the Champs-Élysées with the Champ de Mars behind her, with the two pillars, having no idea of the symbolicness of putting. And so I knew the girl who made those shoes too, so I put the shoes in. I did all this for 450 euros and the gun. And I know that he then used this video to promote in Asia his perfume. I never made that much money. I was just doing everything from my heart. And it was at 6 o'clock in the morning. We'd worked all night in the nightclub the night before. These are the two Italian boys who were my great friends. And I was working with them in their club, Tanya, their AA, Anthony and Adrian, that is the Altair AA Phoenix, and this club, Tanya, that I was working at. And I did, look, there's got a little triangle there and everything. And then at the end, they spray the perfume on her. I mean, it was all quite silly, but now I see the symbology of what I was doing without knowing it. Everything I talk about, that last right angle, that last seventh, the gun, Juliet, will she find her voice? And then this is all about the neck. You know. Yeah, no idea what I was doing. And it's all in that video. Juliet has a gun. It's my 40th birthday. And the Vicky Vibe logo. So you might be having this happen to you a little bit more often as we go into the mad haters. Empaths can truly be hated simply because without intending to, they can energetically mirror back the entire inner angst and lack of personal integrity of another, exposing an unwillingness to face their own dishonesty, greed, hatred, and desire to hide from the truth, as well as from themselves. This can happen completely outside the empath's conscious awareness, as they tend to keep sending out light which can irritate another's demons while being perplexed at the reactions. It can literally drive those who thrive on inauthenticity out of their minds. So I avoid that as much as possible. Situations like that, I just keep my lights for, I don't annoy people. I don't let those situations happen. But, you do need to avoid people that react to you in that way. It's dangerous now. Okay, we're going to go straight to the important posts of stuff to show you. So this is the film that Lavette always speaks about, The Forbidden Planet. This is exactly what's happening now. Pluto's subconscious mind spent 56 years in Cetus, 1812 to 1868. The whale, the Moby Dick of Charles Will.i.am, Loch Ness, T-Rex, Scotty Dickens, Victorian era, prepper of all we live today. The New Age cage, Brave New World, the takeover of the subconscious mind. There are 10 signs between Pisces, Sagittarius, where Pluto is now. So he's done from Pisces, Victorian age, he's ending Sagittarius, before entering the Twin Peaks, home of Saturn, contraction. Jupiter rules Pisces, Sagittarius, expansion, 10 signs is say 10, A10. So we've been prepared. Saturn entered with the big clampdown of coronavirus, and now you've got to cope with Saturn moving forward and Pluto entering. So it's an alchemical journey we're on. The moon stars of the id is Ida. Pluto will enter Capricorn, and that will activate the 1986 Pluto and Virgo generation. So they want to create this dark side of Virgo. This girl that killed the 12-year-old is a 24-year-old. She'll be a patsy. They're patsies. They're mind-controlled for this role. But if you are an unhealed of this generation, you are going to bring in what they want. You've got to be able to use it properly. This is the revolution coming. The Black Madonnas to either fear their powers or activate their healing abilities. Pluto is now in Sagittarius, Jupiter under the Altair Phoenix, ending his journey from Pisces, Cetus, Whale, and Jupiter is at home now on the whale's tail. Pisces and Neptune will enter next year for 15 years. Neptune imagination is the abyss, Pisces unconscious collective. Last time Neptune was there, also Victorian era, when all was planned for now. Uranus was also where it is now. Aries, Taurus, and was for World War II in 1956. The film The Forbidden Planet came out to warn humanity of your imagination, because if you can't face fear, fear is made real. It's all in the mind. You must watch the film. I learned the hard way. In 2019, I watched the film, and the minute it ended, the second it ended, my dog Happy, began to have an epileptic fit. He was twitching. It's the most traumatic memory. And I knew, because the same had been done to my dog Honey, that he'd been induced. But my fear was so potent, and knowing that I lived my fears. I was in danger, and it happened. I was too deep in the abyss of mind control. I was still in my other relationship, which I had to come to terms that killing my animals was something that my mother had done too. And once I got that, you're through the gap. This war coming and nuclear pop-off is about becoming one with your subconscious mind and fears, detaching it from it by embracing the truth of the orchestra we live in. The news is fear porn to take over your minds. You create the reality slideshow when you can't see how it's done, and when you worship idols and fake gods. So this is just showing you 2022, Pluto under the altar, under the eagle. And they're blocking me. I fell on that in 1856. Pluto right under the eye, the moon, so I kept that image. So 1868, Pluto left the unconscious collective. We had Jupiter exactly where he is now, the whale's tail. So Jupiter's here now, but by the time he moves back here, that will be a big time. The moon was just out of that V for victory, and Pluto and Mars will conjunct under Algol, where we've got Uranus now. So the monsters of the id, the forbidden planet. You've got those three kings with their sixes, 3 6s, 666. The blasted things invisible, yep, the 12th house. Got the... So you have to go and watch that film. Moon. And in fact, at the end of the film, you see that it's all from his imagination. There you've got the guru and the young girl. Saturn. So this is exactly where we are now. So RCCR is the Cairo, closing sword in the stone. 72, the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years and 72 years every age. 72 plus 72 is 144. The Twin Peaks peak cap crown, it's the last of the 5-pointed star. The Twin Peaks peak cap crown made. Harry Potter HPPH harmonic procession and PH07, the Holland Park Victorian Society New Age orangery cage. Robbie Coltrane, so this actor just died from Harry Potter. Actor dies age 72. The acidity or alkalinity of any solution, including blood, is indicated on the pH Harry Potter scale. Ranges from 0, strongly acid, to 14, strongly basic or alkyne. So again, 14 is that Rachel, that story, what I read to you in the beginning. And the 14th was the date that they killed LoLa. Strongly basic or alkaline. A pH of 7.0. There's your 70 of the Queen's reign. Double 07, 70 in the middle of the scale is neutral. Blood is normally slightly basic with a normal pH range of about 735 to 745. So the Prince Charles logo, and there's your Cairo killing in the throat, in the neck, and that snake. So this is Mars about to go retro here. This is what we're up against, killing her, the fertility, the cow herd, Mo's cow. Graphene, the dark side of conscious control. So that was in the Uno video, and you must go and watch the first videos I ever made in 2015 in French and English, 2 5-minute videos where I say, you know, they want our experience as light beings within a physical vessel, and this is what we're up against right now. So the Big Bang, BB22, will ache an ear. So you just had the Van Gogh painting sabotaged by 2 girls. So making Gemini boys into 2 twin girls. Virgo Pisces making them masculine. So the little 7-year-old twin boys and the 14, 16-year-old Virgo girl, made into those two sterile Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So the ache of an ear, or arc from ear to ear, you make that connection between the two sides of the brain, the four corners. Shakespeare, SS, Chic, Shrek, Green God, GG77, pronounced Shane, Chic, Arabic, mostly pronounced Chic, Shake, Shake, is an honorific title in the Arabic language. SS, abbreviation of Schutzschule, German, protective echelon, the black uniformed elite corps and self-described political soldiers of the Nazi party. So the new Putin has just announced a new guy to run his army, and he's called SS, which is like 5'5". It's the 5'5", the 55 kilometers between Alaska and Russia is that image of Michelangelo. It's your brain merging. It's your Solomon's temple. Show the ache in the ear, from eye to eye, from ear to ear. So that was just one of those shorts on YouTube when John Wayne throws her son into the water so he learns to swim. It's all about now. You can read that. 12th house Pisces is the abyss. It's where people drown trying to stay afloat among a sea of lies, false hopes and illusions. That is not swimming, it's drowning. And when the whale's tail goes splash, the siren mermaid becomes an octopussy and drags those who have not tamed their inner fears, subconscious seas down under into the whirlpool. Two drowning people can't save each other. All they do is drag each other down. He feels himself buried in those two infinities, the ocean and the sky at one end, and the same time the one is a tomb, the other is a shroud. For in tremendous extremities, human souls are like drowning men. Well enough they know they are in peril. Well enough they know the causes of that peril. Nevertheless, the sea is the sea, and these drowning men go down. So if you can't navigate your own vessel, okay, can you see PB led? There's the PP. They don't shoot horses, do they? Or they shoot horses, don't they? BP, British Petroleum, Penguin Man, and the Micro, Macro, Mac, Pimp. It's the Micro. It's that rectangular black box. Everyone talking about the black cube. It's just the Micro and the Macro. It's got their bow ties on. Of course, the mystic rectangle, Pandora's box, snooker table, cue and stick, Lords of the boxing ring. Jane Fonda, jellyfish, diaphragm, Medusa, JFK cup, the Milky Way snake, feminine axis, Pisces, Susanna York, Venus in Pisces. You go see the film again. The whole beginning bit is about coronavirus. They're all tested before they can go into the ball. And this is where we're at now. Echo and Psyche, Venus and Mars. Is so Susanna York, Venus and Pisces, voice spirit, and Jane Fonda. So I would have done this post on the day that girl died, LoLa. And, you know, my unconscious is always, even if I don't follow any news, I know exactly in my very living in the abyss, living in the 12th house as I do. And Jane Fonda, Virgo soul, V for victory, Venus in Virgo and detriment legs. So she loses, her legs are bent. It's that corner. If you're either on your knees to repent or you're on your knees because you just can't carry on anymore, best to fall onto your knees first. And Eros, Venus and Mercury. Cupid, Gemini steals her Virgo, Mercury voice, the ether to get her. The myth of Eros and Psyche is probably one of the best love stories in classical mythology. Eros, son of Aphrodite, was the personification of intense love desire. And he was depicted throwing arrows to people in order to hit their hearts and make them fall in love. Psyche, a beautiful maiden, personifies the human soul. In fact, she is the symbol of the soul purified by passions and misfortunes, and who is, from now on, prepared to enjoy eternal happiness. In the love story of Eros, Cupid in Latin, and Psyche, meaning soul in Greek, we can see the perseverance of a man even when he is possessed by passion, and the effort of a woman to overcome many obstacles in order to achieve the happiness of love. So again, dub L707, G7, Gigi, the voice passage. The torso has an above and below, V for victory, to make the voice silent, to block the passage through, to stop her voice, to get her the bird in the cage. The voice is the echo, echo. Let your breath through, up, down, in, out is the gun. Your voice is the last leg, egg, 90-degree angle. 9999 is the 77, two voices become one, 0770. So I'm not going to open all that, but the gun, the V victory, you can see that there. Okay, let's get going. I've got Venus, Moon, and Mercury conjunct in Aquarius, and that is my Venus, Mercury, Moon, Mother, all three of us. So in your face, how come people just can't see? G7, Bavarian Mountains, crowning Corona. This is the eclipse we have. This is the eclipse on the 25th. And there you've got all the G7, the frames, the picture frames, 6. And here you've got the beast, Black Madonna with a skeleton baby, 2 bosoms as tears, the red Mars on the bullseye, the tit is the bullseye, and you've got 5 injections as the crown, that Florence Nightingale, the knight is in, the poot is in, the man is in, the masculine energy taking over the feminine fertility. If I open it up, I've got to wind all the way down again, but I opened it up. So, yeah, making all humanity sterile, virgin suicides. Okay. So we're coming to the end. 00707, 2 sides of the coin become one, sun, moon, the coin. It's the quake, it's the quack. Royal Ark, 6996 Bridge, Pont d'Alma, Dalai Lama, completed when the Mother Moon becomes the Black Sun. Whoa, Black Betty, La Marianne, La Marie-Dan rises in France, hence the death of the Mother Diana, Moon Goddess, English Rose, Rosemary's Babies in Paris, and the falling of Notre Dame releases the mad dam of the Pluto and Virgo generations. As Pluto moves into high cardinal gas, Capricorn 96 to birth Armistice, the child's sterile bride. The Black Madonna and her Dauphin son. The Pont d'Alma is a road bridge in Paris, France, across the Seine. It was named to commemorate the Battle of Alma during the Crimean War, in which the Ottoman Franco-British alliance achieved victory over the Russian army on the 20th of September, 1854. So that's that date I stopped at, and I showed you the picture before 1868 when we had Mars and Moon right on the eye. So you know all these images. This was the girl who won badminton, 70, Colette, she's called Laura Colette. And that is the name of the author who wrote the book Gigi, which is My Fair Lady, which is Lolita. Lola has just been killed. So, see, I'm feeling all that coming. And that's what I'm doing. So there'll be loads of other pictures, and I'm not going to open them. When I was a young, innocent wife and mother, I dreamt a few days, weeks before the death of the mother, the moon goddess Diana. I dreamt I was sitting at Café Dalma I didn't pick up on that till many years later. How come I knew? Until I went to that cafe and saw that I was actually was dreaming of the cafe next to that bridge. So in the Pont d'Alma, Dalai Lama in Paris, I've covered in many videos about Mahler and his wife, the composer. It's all about this Pont d'Alma. That was the name of his wife. Al and Ma. So putting Al next to Ma. She was 7 years older than me, and I saw her alone, terrified, and waited in the cafe. I comforted her and told her not to worry. My husband was Scorpio too, although I now know both Charlie and my ex are Libra. At the time, I had no idea why I was comforting her. She was just so alone and so scared. Last night, she did the same for me. She came with gifts for my grandchildren and huge hugs for me. It was very pleasant. So we know that Diana is just an archetype, but within those archetypes, she came to comfort me. The Pont d'Alma is a road bridge in Paris, France, across the Seine. It was named to commemorate the Battle of Alma during the Crimean War, in which the Ottoman Franco-British alliance achieved victory over the Russian army. So the Seine, the Seine is the scene we play on. You've got that famous image of it makes the hat in The Little Prince. And you've got the Eiffel Tower, which sits between the 7th arrondissement and on the other side, the 16th, which is 7-7 to become the one Iron Lady Eiffel Tower. So that post, actors, King Charles III uses old TV show script. Yup. Okay, I think we're at the end, which would be great. I put that up on my community, Only the Child Lamb. You can read that. It's on my community too in YouTube. Is your orb and skept can and able apple app LPB Paddy Bear heavier than the Twitter feather heather eater ether? So apple and the feather, again, Taurus and Venus. I have to wait. You get it. Look at those ratios. Look at those. That bites. It's all in there. That's interesting. You know, all the Thrive New Age movements. And they're saying that this it's the bow tie, it's the meter, it's the hourglass, and there's a sphere, the solar plexus, the vortex out. So this reminds me, you go back to my old videos, go and look at, there's only 3-4 videos I do where I show my face and I talk. And I did the figure of 8, explaining the box that we get trapped in, the black cube. It's not Saturn that blocks you in a cube. It's can you merge the fox and the crow, Saturn and Jupiter, the tortoise and the hare. The tortoise wins, not the hare. And the crow is able to overcome its pride of being fooled by the fox. Your higher consciousness. The UN, the spider. We've got our labyrinth on the drain pipe at our church. I live in the village of the 5-pointed star. There will be other ones on the earth. I'm just at one point. White hole, black hole, presence. So that triangle, the silver and the golden triangle. We're going through now Altair, Vega, and Deneb. You know that. You know that. Deneb, Vega, Altair, the wolf. Have you tamed your wolf within? And Pluto right there. And that's why Prince Charles, the feather, if it's the child writing with a feather, I saw some video, yeah, paper aeroplanes, you know, they look, that group, Agnes, Angus, and Julia. Julia means Almighty God. Angus is the last angle, the ox, Alpha Omega. And they look just like Charles and Kate, the Australian brother and sister, Jack and Jill. You know, in a way, Catherine is playing the Catherine the Great, the two children. Anyway, sorry, I'm just a bit hungry now. It's 11:30. I started at 9:30, and I knew I only had this moment, so I'm just a bit hungry. Read that. I always say read that, and then I read it to you. Heavy is the crown, and yet she wears it as if it were a feather. There is strength in her heart, determination in her eyes, and the will to survive resides within her soul. She is you, a warrior, a champion, and a fighter. So this is where we're coming to Lana Del Rey. So in the French newspapers, on va partir cul par-dessus tête. We're gonna go head over heels. So the cul, the arse above the heads. So that's exactly what I've been telling you, being hung upside down. Old Ronald Macquerot means Mac, it means a pimp. Donald had a farm, said about the fuel, petrol, gas, Pisces, whales. Whales is petrol, oil, ink from the bottom of the deep blue CCC. This is when St. Andrew's cross is hung upside down. I told you over and over again. You're being hung upside down. The third eye is your rein, your reign, the kidneys or the Ukraine. Third eye, Libra Venus. The tail of the Moby Dick is in Libra Venus whale. Head is in Aries, of the snake, of the lunar north nodes, Rahu, Ketu, which create the eclipses we're having on the 25th, partial, solar, lunar on the 8th, in Virgo, Pisces, the lunar. Is the QR soul when you still can't see the alchemical journey we're on. So we're going head over heels. Macron's surprising reaction to the fuel shortage, the expression being head over heels, appeared in everyday language in the 15th century. This metaphor was used to explain in a very colourful way that a person has turned upside down, the parts of his body reversed, his arse up and his head down, like an ostrich. Okay, so I think Rebecca's World, this book that I read as a child that freaked me out. There you've got Rebecca on the MC, the top of the mountain, the child. You've got the stag. You've got Pan, the green man, the heart and Mars and Mercury. It's always the same story. Dorothy and the three. Princess Leia in Star Wars. It's always being prepared of the rising of this girl. And I have bought this book online. I got the last old copy. I'm glad I got it back. So again, the energy as well. I've got my tummy making a lot of noise. Sorry. I'm going to let you read that. And I won't read it because I've got other things to do now. This is painted by a lovely girl. And Anna Violet, you know, this is the spiritual human being. She is able to unite the whore. So then we had the big full moon. It's the last time I spoke to you. So for that Pink Panther full moon, my village all lit up in pink. And everybody, that was on the 8th of October. So it's the last time I spoke to you. Great, we're at the end. Okay, well, let's finish we've got the partial solar eclipse coming up, because the south node is in Libra, so it will be making a partial. And again, this is really Perseverone falling into the underworlds, merging with Libra, when Libra should merge with Scorpio to become that eagle again. This is all prematurely closing us in the Pink Panther box. And Uranus conjunct to the head of the snake under Algol. And then on the 8th, Moon Uranus conjuncts to the head of the snake. And that is, so this, the 8th of the 11th, it's not in Virgo. Sorry, the solar eclipse is in Virgo Pisces. The new moon is in Virgo, and it's the lunar eclipse that we're going to have the same as I spoke about it in my last. We're going to have the sun right conjunct Mercury and Venus at home, rising after the sacrifices, the death of LoLa. Venus rising, this making masculine Libra feminine, and the moon and Uranus as Mars has begun to go retrograde, and the moon feminine in Aries next to Uranus. This is really the start of the war, the civil war between yourselves. Okay, my darlings, I love you very much, and I'll be back when I can. And just remember to find your fifth element and to stay within and do what you have to do to avoid people who aren't healed. All my love. Bye.